The grit of sand scoured the finish of her rifle. She tasted metal, the tang of her own sweat-drenched balaclava. A single drop of condensation tracked a slow, glistening line down the rust-pocked steel of the shipping container in front of her. Muffled, frantic shouting echoed from the alley beyond, a language she didn't speak, a fear she understood perfectly. She was exposed. The girl couldn't have been more than 18. She was backed against a graffiti-scarred wall, clutching a modified dead man's switch to her chest. Tears cut clean paths through the grime on her face. A voice, ice-cold and amplified by technology, crackled in Anna's ear. "Captain Rostova, Overwatch has the shot. ROE is clear. She's a viable threat." "Commander Thorne, say the word." Anna kept her palm raised, her own weapon pointed at the concrete. "Tokes, stand by. I'm talking to her." "That's not a girl, Captain." Thorne's voice sliced back, devoid of patience. "That's a bomb. We are weapons hot. Final chance." The girl with the detonator looked at Anna, her eyes wide with a terror that eclipsed fanaticism. "They said you would kill me," she whispered, her voice breaking. Anna saw the sniper glint on the roof 200 meters out. She saw the girl's thumb tremble on the switch. She made the choice. She lowered her rifle, letting it hang on its sling. She unclipped her helmet. "Stand down, Commander," Anna said, her own voice shockingly clear in the sudden silence. "I'm going in." Cut to black. 3 weeks earlier, the air at Forward Operating Base Manta was thick with salt and diesel. Captain Anna Rostova stepped out of the rattling C-2 Greyhound and onto the tarmac. The force of the Kavarian sun, a physical blow. Her arrival was unceremonious. There was no welcoming committee, only a single, bored-looking Marine Lance Corporal holding a tablet. "Rostova,